Hi, my name's Catherine Summers. This is a short story I put together for my son who had a sleepover, and I was looking for a short, scary story to read the boys. There wasn't much out there were lots of books, and I didn't want something that was so terrifying, but that was sort of a bit scary. So this is suited maybe to children aged between about 8 and maybe 13. Or older, if you like a story. It's called Taken. Orson lived in the suburbs of a city, in a place known as Waikiki. It ran along the coast like its more famous namesake in Hawaii, USA. This Waikiki had wide streets with houses on quarter-acre blocks. The homes all looked the same because the suburb had been developed all in one go in the 1970s. A real estate agent would describe the houses as brick 3x1s, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. There were newer 5x2s, but they were beachside and inhabited by the wealthy. The distinguishing feature of Orson's house was that it was the only house in the street that had a mature tree, an ancient, majestic peppermint, which somehow had survived the developers' bulldozers. Orson's mother had bought the house solely on the premise of the tree. Can be part of the family, which was perhaps improbable, but she never failed to appreciate its beauty, particularly on a stormy night when she would lie snug and warm in bed, listening to the wind whooshing through its leaves. Orson had an older sister whose name was Avalon. Avalon was a champion swimmer. She had long, brown, athletic limbs and always wore earrings and nail polish to the pool. If she wasn't training, she was organising her social life or reading a Vogue magazine in the hope of procuring a Prada dress or a pair of Christian Louboutin shoes, the ones with the red soles. Avalon's room was neater than Minneapolis, and her clothes hung colour-coded in her wardrobe. Largely, she ignored her brother and failed to see how they could possibly be related. Orson, on the other hand, annoyed his sister as much as he could and washed and tidied as little as he could. Oftentimes, when his mother sent him to the bathroom to clean or shower, he would just run the tap. His bedroom looked and smelt like a buffalo had been living in it, and his clothes, on principle, were accommodated in a giant pile in the middle of the floor. His mother did venture in from time to time to purge the worst, but in a day or so it would return to its natural condition. Orson's mum was always adapting words or cliches, such as, "In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed woman is in charge." What she actually meant was often a complete mystery. As it happens, Orson's mother was also a teacher, and now and again she had to stay behind at school to look after other children. Orson's mum was uneasy about this, so she bought a dog as extra company and protection. A dog in time saves 9. The dog had no particular kind of pedigree. He was a mishmash of breeds, but somehow all the bits had come together in a marvellous way. He seemed to have special powers. For instance, if the old lady who lived 3 streets away sneezed over her roses, he would hear it. If the postman scratched his itchy shirt, new washing powder that his wife was trialling, he would hear it. The dog could smell smells under smells. He could sniff the southeasterly from Penguin Island that carried it, with it the malodors of fish, feathers and bird poop. He could smell what you'd trodden in that day: sand, grass, chewing gum, cigarettes, peanut butter. He could also tell if a certain someone had worn the same underclothes for days straight, and in those days he would come into the bedroom tactfully carrying a fresh set in his choppers. The family called their dog Watson after another famous sidekick. Can you guess who? This particular Monday, Orson's mum dropped Orson off outside the school. "I have to stay at work this afternoon, so when you get home, make sure you lock the door and don't talk to strangers. You've got your keys? Phone? Yes?" His mother said the same thing every time, a bit like a broken record. Orson nodded, although he wasn't really listening. He was too busy texting. "Smell you later," Orson's mum gave her son a wave. After school, Orson walked home. But it was only when he got to the front door that he realised he had forgotten his keys. He went to where the spare key was always hidden and then remembered that he hadn't put it back the last time his friend came over. Now what, he mused. His mobile was out of charge. And it's a curious fact that when you really need to use your mobile phone, it's always out of charge or the battery is flat. Orson supposed he could wait outside until his mum came home, or he could go round to a friend's house. Looking regretfully through the window at Watson's expectant face, he put his school bag on the front mat and turned to leave. Just at that time, a man in a clown costume holding a big bunch of balloons was walking up the street. This was something Orson had not seen before. The clown wore a red wig, and his balloons bobbed and twinkled in the sunlight. They were every kind of colour, shape and size. As the clown crossed the road, he saw Orson and their eyes met. Watson, looking keenly through the window, started to bark, but Orson paid no attention. "Do you want to buy balloons, son?" The clown smiled greasily through his makeup. He had crooked teeth, which Orson didn't care for. Orson examined the balloons, fingering the $2 coin in his pocket. He'd been saving up this lunch money to buy a cap gun. He was a boy that liked explosions. "How much are they?" asked Orson carefully, completely ignoring the fact that his mother just that morning had told him not to talk to strangers. "How much have you got?" $2. I don't suppose you've got any good exploding ones," said Orson. "Ah! Ha! As a matter of fact I do. I don't bring them out as much. People don't like them. They're in my van. Come with me and I'll sell you one that really pops. That pops so loud your eardrums hurt." The clown laughed, throwing back his bewigged head and revealing his crooked teeth once more. Watson began growling and barking more than ever and throwing himself at the other side of the front door, making it shake. "That's one crazy dog. He just wants a walk." "You're not going to let him out, are you? He might damage my balloons." "Nah." "Do you want that special balloon then? It's usually $5, but on account of our hair being red, I'll sell it to you for $2, okay?" "You've got a deal, mister," grinned Orson, and followed the clown down the street to his van. The bright balloons bobbed behind them, their brilliant colours vivid against the blue sky. Posters went up on the telephone poles and in the local shop window almost immediately, and if the family were in any doubt about the situation, it was confirmed by the newspaper headline, "Missing Boy," in a foreboding black, bold typeface. The police detectives looked through Orson's messy room for clues, which normally would have embarrassed their mum, but now she was too overwrought to care. The neighbours were interviewed one by one, some of whom had seen the balloon clown. Mrs. Murdoch, who lived 4 doors down, had even bought 2 balloons because it was her twins' birthday. The police retrieved them, the balloons, not the twins, to take to their lab for fingerprinting and DNA matching. "Now that I think about it," mused Mrs. Murdoch, "I remember the clown was wearing gloves, which I thought was a bit odd. Oh, I suppose that means you won't get any fingerprints, will you?" The police detectives exchanged glances. This was not a good sign. Earlier that day, Orson's school friends took the day off school and organised a search looking through all the parks and places their mate might be, while Avalon and her mum went to the local hospital, peering hopefully through the wards, looking for Orson's trademark red hair. By lunchtime, there was still no sign of Orson. Dejectedly, for want of something better to do, they took Watson out, who indignantly dragged them both immediately to the spot where the clown's van had been. This is where he disappeared. Their mum was sure of it. She phoned the police, and they came and looked at the spot. Soon there was a crowd gathered. "This is where that white van was parked," several people helpfully volunteered. No one wanted to say it out loud, but it looked like Orson had been taken.